I was thinking I should have worn a bicycle helmet for this bit, but never mind. Hey, we're live. Look at that. It's actually on. Just check it's coming out. Yeah, no, it's on. It's on. All cylinders. Get in. Evening, everybody. Hello, Catherine. So our special guest is the amazing Mr. Tim Baker of All We Can. I wish I had one of those sound boxes now for a round of applause, like they had at open mic in Methley. That'd be brilliant. And just to say, if Harry sends a poo emoji, it is not personal, right? It's just Harry's way of letting us know he's here and joining in. Hello, Rita. Hello, Brad. So we've got people here.
We take emojis of all colours and flavours.
No, absolutely, yeah. All the emojis we can. No, it's going to be all night.
I have brought something specially for you.
Oh,
it's a plug. The plug.
Hey!
It's an All We Can plug.
All We Can plug. Oh, that's fantastic.
If we put it just there.
Yeah.
All We Can plug.
I'm now thinking I may have to go and paint the one in my bath yellow and explain that to the manse steward when I move. It's an All We Can plug. You can't touch it. Oh, the poo emoji's arrived. Thank you, Harry. Hey. Rita says hello to us both. Hello, Eunice. So people up in Leeds, people down here. So I shall now share, hopefully. Whoops. There. Whoa. Share a screen. We have got some visual delights for later on, so I shall optimize it for videos, so that may make the initial bit look a bit wonky. There we go. I've showing the slide sort of view instead of the actual, never mind. I shall now just present that. Come on. So anybody, if you're into, depending on your view of prayer, it feels like praying that this technology lasts, that would be great. Go on. Every night is like a Father Ted moment of just go on. Will you present it? Will you, Father? No. I was about to say something. No, I won't say that. I love my brick.
Ecumenical matter, I expect.
Yes, no, quite. Right. Oh, there we go. If you actually press the present button, James. It is, well, first of all together now we plough the fields and scatter the good seed on the land. It is harvest time, autumn time, and the leaves do. So it'd be awesome time to think about this question: how are we using God's gifts, including our financial resources? And as part of our response to that question or reflection upon it, it's awesome that Tim from All We Can has joined us, and he'll share with us. Sorry, Harry says it's simple. We do it at school. What? Share poo emojis every 5 minutes? I could imagine that. Yeah. Or use God's gifts at school? Answers yes in the affirmative, but to both of those questions would be fantastic. Hello, Nigel. While we are just waiting and reflecting upon that question, some terrible music. Hello, Matt. Not very metal, but you might want to. It's like, metal unplugged, yeah, like MTV Unplugged, but worse. So wave your lighters, wave your phones, twirling, whirling, swaying, encouraged, permitted, facing away from each other, they're wearing masks. The plug is waving. Mr. Chips is waving. This is my song for justice. This is my song asking just this, must this be? Have I said too much? I haven't said enough for you. Till we do all we can do. So I'll stand by your side, and somehow we'll find a better day. I'll stand by your side, and somehow we'll see a brighter day for all. an air guitar moment later on, we can do that. Sally Coleman, stop watching and go to your church council.
It's possible to do both.
Boom! It crashed. No. Oh well.
It was going well,
So,
though.
at least I crashed the internet and not the much better bit of media we're having later on. So never mind. That's just going to mess up the gathering. Oh, hey, oh, what's going on? Ooh.
A bit more just.
Yes, enough justice. Some screen sharing has stopped. No, really, Sherlock. Thank you. Well, we won't do that again, but we'll open it so we can do our gathering. As so far, that has not crashed the internet since August. So we've now got to wait for my computer to start again slowly. So, Tim, while we're waiting, tell us about your day.
I've had a good day actually. A day of many Zooms, as most days are these days. But it's been most fun. We are already thinking about Lent. All weekend's Lent, so I've had some about Lent today because that feels like it's really soon, even though it's only October.
Right.
So save the date in your diaries.
Yes. Is that the
remember
earliest
what the
plug
dates
for
are.
Lent we've had? Is that are we just, was that an exclusive plug?
This is now a Lenten plug. Yes, it's Lent starts sometime next year.
But you can never be too early. I've worked out the answer to the question. So no, Ari was offering. The thing Ari does in school is help with the tech. Yes, Ari, if you can get on your bicycle up 20 Road and sort it out in the next 5 minutes, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much. I'm afraid you're gonna have to put your air guitar away. So let us gather. Oh. Of course, we need to go back and screen share it. You see, at conference they had David Burton, the man, the legend, the David Burton, and
we all need a bit more David Burton in our lives.
Absolutely, so. You can never have too much David Burton in your life.
You cannot.
Now it's just playing at me and not actually sharing it. I'd like to say it was going well, but it actually never got off the ground, did it? No, now we've got that again. Shut up. Right, okay, so back to Zoom, back to screen sharing. Oh, good, it's still there, good. Yes. Okay, yes, right, here we go.
Have some more Compline.
Yes, hello Jane, who else did I miss? Rachel, hello Rachel. Are United playing again tonight? No, lots of love for David Burton, yes. So I'm going to go quickly past that awful music so we don't break the internet again. Everybody.
It's lovely music. It's just too good.
There we go. All right, let's gather. Yay! As moon rises, the sun slips sight. Begins the ritual of this night. For those convinced their path is right. Gathered from north, south, east and west, yet called at another's behest, those treading the path that is Get in the bin, Matt Fugel. From near and far come as you are to this place and embrace this space as darker hue embraces you. Of water, spirit, earth and fire, confessing the sins of empire, we come with our wounds and desire. Sensing that we are not alone, drawn to the flame that guides us home, for here you, me and yet to be. Importance and signs of these times, for the sake of all those maligned, is yet the home of the divine. So bouncing, twirling, whirling, whatever. Oh, plugged in, that's dangerous. And there we go. So if you just joined us, hello, Rebecca. Wow, all the way down in Bedford. Are you still in Bedford? So, that's good. So if you've just joined, we are also joined by Tim Baker from
Evening.
All We Can. What sort of day have people had? Have there been moments of, I suppose, elevation, just those moments where you glimpse something bigger than ourselves, maybe a sense of the divine in whatever way you understand that. Have you had any of that today, Tim? Perhaps should have warned you about these questions before I just get...
No, it's a really good question. I'm just trying to give it a decent answer. I'm really enjoying myself here this evening, actually. This is a little taste of what heaven will be like, I think. Gathering together live on Facebook to do silly things together. I think that's exactly God's idea of fun.
No, I think so, but I'm hoping God is, because Jesus saves. So, like, if he crashes, we won't lose any work, will we? It'd be great.
No, exactly. No. Jesus auto-save, I think, is the correct translation.
Well, very good. Yes, I like that. It's really good. Oh, dear. Yes. I managed to go for a walk in the rain. That was nice to actually, just that the sound of the rain on the, on the leaves. That was cool. I enjoyed that. However, tried to fit into my decent waterproof, meant that I also got wet. But okay, it was worth it. Maybe there are things from today that have been less than great. So if there are things that we want to let go of and lay down, stuff that we've experienced, stuff that we're perhaps been a bit harsh with ourselves about, we can let go. As we join in these words together, the principalities and will to power, the worms from within my own darkest hour, I confess all the regress and the regrets, the burdens and the fears, the laments and the tears, for ourselves and those whom we love, and all of humanity and creation. We lay them down. And Jesus says, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And may that peace and that rest be ours this night. And in the words of Nicky Gumbel, Amen. There we go. And I was watching I was joining in with, I was participating in the Methodist Church Year of Prayer Tuesday lunchtime worship, and it was great because he took the mute off of Zoom during the Amen, and there were some very Nicky Gumbel-esque Amens in there. That was really good. Just to hear so many voices saying Amen was fantastic. That was another God moment from today. Our question for tonight from the Methodist Way of Life is, how are you using God's gifts, including your financial resources? So if people have had a chance to think, if you want to type in and let us know. Again, recognise this has been a difficult and is continuing to be difficult financially for many people. So this isn't about in any way, shape or form trying to make anybody feel guilty, perhaps encouraging us to think broadly about all that we are, all that we have, and all the ways in which we can use all of those. That's number 2. To serve others, to serve God, and by giving back to God what we have received. On that very thought, it is awesome that Tim is here. And so I'm going to shut up and let Tim talk about amazing things as part of this question.
Thanks, James. Amazing things, he says, giving me a big billing. I wondered if the contest was how many times you could say all we can and how many times I could say Compline in the same evening, and we'll see.
That's very good. We need some sort of bell device.
Yeah, we need
a
that
bicycle bell
again.
device. Boom.
Oh, that would be good. Yes. It's such a great question, isn't it, from the Methodist way of life? Kind of how are you using God's gifts? Because I think so often we take for granted the things that we've got. And I know I'm really good at that. Really, that's one of my gifts, is taking for granted how blessed I am and how lucky I am and how much I've got at my disposal, which is not just about resources, financial resources, though it is partly about that. It's also about kind of my health, my energy, my ideas, my family, my time, all of those things, which I think I quite often overlook. So it's really nice the way the question's phrased, I think, which is accepting those things. What are we going to do with them? And so, yeah, this COVID time has been a really interesting one for lots of us, hasn't it? We were joking just before we came on air about how we've learned how not to do lots of things or how to do lots of things badly.
And then I proceeded to demonstrate that. Yes.
Well, Zoom has continued to be sometimes a gift and sometimes a mixed blessing. But yeah, kind of the first thing when you pinged me over the question that struck me was the kind of way that we've seen so many different people respond to this time by almost finding their calling, finding a gift. Don't you joke about it, but this little space that you've created here is a little gift that you've offered to many of us, and I've enjoyed tuning in. And kind of we can, I guess, suddenly realise that was what was happening. Back sometime in March, we suddenly realised, actually, you know what? There's a few of us that know a little bit about making videos and a little bit about being online, and a little bit about how to stand together with people in a time of crisis. That helps that we're an international development charity. If you haven't heard of All We Can before, then you've clearly not been on Metal Compline before. But we're the international development charity of the Methodist Church, and so for 80 odd years have been standing with people in the time of crisis. And suddenly we realised that this was a crisis like none other, because it was affecting the whole world at the same moment. And so maybe one of the things we could do was stand with folks and churches here in the UK that weren't kind of sure what to do next, or we went into March, didn't we, sort of thinking, oh well, maybe our buildings will be closed for a week or two, or 6 weeks or so, or maybe 8. And now here we still are, and it's October, and we're working out how to do the risk assessments. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying, I think, 2 things. How can we use our gifts? We can use our gifts to stand. All we can might use our gifts is we're using our gifts to try and stand alongside the church here in the UK and Christians here in the UK. And nice to see lots of you joining today who are also part of some of our regulars on some of our broadcasts, our 117 stuff that goes out 4 times a week these days, just after 1:15. And that's been mainly about how can we as Christians just be together. But the other thing is just realizing that whilst this is a crisis that's affecting everyone, you and I, James, and most of us watching are relatively well off in terms of how we cope with a crisis and cope with coronavirus. So we've been trying to say, how can we stand together with those most in need, and how can we stand alongside them and use our gift quite literally to help change people's lives and help save people's lives. It was really quite early on. It was probably early April when kind of the first stories were coming through of coronavirus just beginning to touch the refugee camps, and then realizing that actually, like, All We Can and our partners, little old All We Can, had set up a triaging unit that was genuinely meaning that the virus wasn't spreading. And I was like,
wow,
like the virus hitting the camps is BBC headline news level stuff. And we've done a little thing that's made a difference there.
That's huge.
And I've been doing this job for a long time, and you shouldn't take me by surprise, but it really did. It really and so, yeah, thank you. And thanks, Sally, for joining us so regularly at 117. It's always nice to have you as a oasis in your day too. You're an oasis in our day too. So yeah, just seeing those little gifts become something significant, I think, in God's hands.
Thank you. I'm just plowing through some of the responses. So apart from Matt and Sally having a ding dong about age, it's good to hear that like others, Rachel donates to charity, when and where and as she can. Matt's now off to his own meeting. Thank you, Matt. Take care.
Bye, Matt.
Sally, you take care as well with your meeting. But yeah, Sally says accepting things can be hard, but we're often blind to what we have to offer. I just think, that actually we might not think it, and maybe we've had experiences where others have perhaps prevented us from seeing it because of unhelpful comments or whatever. But actually, as we said the other night in the Ephesians reading, when I found it in the Bible, placing your bookmarks was not covered on Vicar School. That actually, we are living stones, and we are, called by God, and actually, therefore, made in God's image. And we think about that and how awesome and mind-blowing that is, that actually, of course, we have something to offer because of who we are in God. And so may we kind of hear that. And Patrick says certainly some good virtual, not virtually some good certain spaces, but certainly some good virtual spaces, either or, to hang out and connect together. But as Tim Baker is hinting, or at least he thinks he is, we shall find out, controversial, we need to ensure that we can make spaces for others who need other ways to connect. And that includes those in refugee camps. Yes. Yeah.
There's been it's been a beautiful thing that's happened with so much of the live streaming stuff we've done and the sort of online church, which is that so many people have joined who've really surprised me. It's like, what are you doing here, kind of thing. And there may even be one or two tonight. What are you doing here? But you're very welcome. And that's kind of the fun of it, I think, isn't it? But also realizing at the same moment that there's a huge privilege even just to being able to hang out online, and that's part of the answer to the question: how are you using God's gifts? Okay, we've got this gift blessing of this chance that we've got this thing called Wi-Fi that means that if you're in Sheffield and I'm in Pontefract and Patrick's in Bristol, we can all kind of be in the same space and be together. And let's make sure we use that gift to further God's kingdom.
I mean, I know I kind of posted about it because it did just absolutely blow me away in lots of ways. But the all we can, the hold together 117. I think from Friday. And again, just that bit where you said, I own it. I take so much for granted. I get so kind of going, oh dear, I've got to get this online worship done. Apparently getting it on Friday isn't soon enough. And I just engaged with that in the middle of that day and just got my smack around the face with a wet fish to go, actually get a grip of yourself. Not to say, oh yes, there's always more people worse off than you. It wasn't that. It was the fact that through this technology in the middle of the day, whilst getting cross with the technology at my end, to actually hear from people in Zimbabwe and was it Uganda as well? Yeah, and India, and just hear on the ground their experience of COVID, some of the positive things that are happening, and particularly in India, just the courage and commitment and compassion of people to respond, and just that thing of actually, we are all connected, and this technology really helps, and may we use it for good, like all we can do. Hello, Joyce. Harry, you think Vicar School is hysterical? You should have been there, mate. It was absolutely hysterical. Yes, especially all the trial sermons. They were particularly amusing. Yes,
but, people throwing bookmarks at each other.
Yes. Okay, what's this for? I have no idea. So I mean, So in terms of, because I know obviously the All We Can Harvest resources, and on Sunday many of us were at the Harvest Big Sing and the Big Harvest Supper with quiche, potato salad, and various trifles afterwards. And again, you know, through the technology, being able to the gifts we do have to receive that from All We Can and the Methodist Church. And particularly the Matt's hosting afterwards and the amazing quiz. That was fantastic.
I'm glad you enjoyed the way, the truth, or the lie.
That was absolutely stunning. But again, just to see and hear from people from all over the place, just sharing, you know, in their food and sharing, which was really encouraging. I mean, is there stuff you want to tell us about if people haven't had Harvest resources yet? Or are thinking we're thinking about Harvest, we've had to do it differently. What on earth could we support this year in our Harvest campaign?
Yes.
Or I've got this rusty old bicycle and I don't know what to do with it.
Yes, as Matt, who you mentioned there, who's my colleague at All We Can, and I often say to people about this time of year, is it's never too late for a harvest service. We've both preached at harvest services deep into November, and you know, even if the harvest is well and truly harvested, you can still have a service to support All We Can, and make use of the harvest resources. So yeah, please do that. allwecan.org.uk/cycle. There's still plenty of them on the various shelves and available for download. So encourage you to make use of that. And as James has hinted at, if you've not already done that and you weren't there at the Big Church Sing on Sunday, then it's all to do with bicycles. And in some ways, I think that's probably where your logic came from to invite me on to talk about this particular.
I think logic might have been, that's a very generous word of you. But just to say, I've just noticed that the Reverend Joanne Cox-Darling, who gave the fantastic, well, some of the resources are from Joe, and they are really good. So thank you to Joe too.
Yeah, thanks, Joe, the Reverend Doctor, no less.
Oh yeah, sorry. Whoops. Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
Thank you. And one of the things we really tried to do this year was come up with a load of video stuff that you could use in your churches, because we know that kind of at the moment every church is doing everything differently. Some of us are open and meeting in person, some of us are only meeting online, a lot of us are trying to juggle those two things together, and actually just some video content that you can slot in and give yourself a little Zoom break might prove to be helpful. So do have a look. Just follow the links down the download side of that order form, and you'll find loads of stuff, including a really nice sermon from Joe, and lots of other stuff too. A nice message from Mary Sharples, who's one of the youth reps, and yeah, all sorts of fun things. So please do go and make use of those. And it's all about the whole kind of resource, which I know you've mentioned on here before, is about kind of idea of those very ordinary things, or those things that we see as ordinary, becoming extraordinary. And that's what goes on in the passage we chose, the feeding of the 5,000 from John's Gospel, where the little ordinary packed lunch of the boy sparks something extraordinary and leads to an extraordinary moment of generosity where suddenly everybody's being fed. So it's a kind of encouragement for all of us to say, what's the little ordinary packed lunch that we have got in our backpack or back pocket, but we wouldn't think to share it, and then kind of in the hands of Jesus, that little gift becomes something truly remarkable and genuinely life-changing for thousands of people. We don't quite know how that miracle played out, but we do know that the boy sparked something remarkable by doing something very ordinary. And so using the straight comparison between that, the ordinary packed lunch, and the very ordinary bicycle, which yes, in my case, mine's very ordinary. It's had a flat tire for probably 7 years, but this year I've wheeled it out in order to sit on it for sermons. But
yes,
but not really for riding, because it doesn't matter if it's got a flat tire for sermons, does it? So very ordinary item that many of us have got one and not quite sure what it's for, or we use it every now and then as a sort of luxury. But in Uganda, it's becoming something extraordinary. It's changing people's lives because it's helping them access essential healthcare or get, in many cases, get young people to school, crossing that kind of barrier of distance where people are walking 2 or even 3 hours to get to school each way. You can imagine that quite quickly that becomes a reason to stop going to school. And when there's all the other pressures of living in a poor rural village of Uganda, we met lots of sort of young teenagers while I was out there in November who were going to school up until a point, and then it was clear that the journey eventually got too much for them and they just stopped going. And thereby, that leaves the challenge for that family again. How are you going to break out of the cycle of poverty? And so that's the sort of pun that we've played on this year. Is that
beautifully, in my pun-loving opinion? I'm a pun-loving criminal.
Pun-loving minister. The ability to stay. So just keeping young people in school is a way to break the cycle of poverty, because if you got somebody coming out of school at 16 with qualifications and a dream for the future, that's already really going to help that family. The ordinary rusty old bike becoming something extraordinary in the hands of some gifted local people who've got an idea for how it's going to work. How we're going to use our gifts, I guess, is the challenge that little story lays down for all of us.
We're just spotting again in the comments, Nigel's saying that one of the things that he's continuing to do, and thank you, God bless you, Nigel, working with the youth group, running a youth group at church, that being able to do it. So thank you. And again, I know there's a few people watching who, I think we both know people who work in schools and are amazing. And as All We Can helped us remember at 117 the other day, it was International Teachers' Day. So hats off to teachers, teaching assistants, lecturers, all those people. Amazing. And, I just think, like we're saying, that if, here, I guess the conversation has been, if we've said, I suppose, as the government has said, it is a moral duty priority for us as a country for children, young people to be in school. Actually in that context in Uganda, that actually that same priority has been able to be realised and offered through bicycles, which is stunning. Shall I play the harvest video from All We Can?
Yeah, should we hear?
I say attempt to play in the hope that it doesn't crash my PowerPoint.
We can see some of the stories from Uganda. See how long it lasts.
Yeah, at the very least, you might see a web address for allwecan.org.
There's room for a plug.
There we are. Yeah. Right.
It's going to become old quite quickly, that joke. It's not going to stop me.
No, good man. No, never let it. No. Don't let it hold you back. It's.
I broke my bathroom sink for this joke. It needs to be. I need to milk it.
So, was it attached?
It used to be.
How was it attached?
By a chain. It was attached about 4
Tim's
minutes.
chain fell off. His plug was free. He rose, went forth, and spouted it liberally.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, many weren't, including me. Anyway, here's a very important video. Come on, God, let it work.
Our biggest challenge is we take care of my elderly mother and 7 grandchildren. It costs a lot and our income is very small.
I really want to go to school, but it's a long way and I have a lot of chores to do first.
Life has been very hard because I'm disabled. I'm struggling to support my family.
It's not what I want to do, but I have to make bricks to help my family.
For families like these, change begins with a bike. Change begins with your regular support. For Moses' son Erin, having a bike means freedom.
Now I can get to school and not make bricks all the time.
For Moses, it means now he can earn some money.
My bicycle repair business will grow and I'll be able to feed my family.
For Florence and David's extended family, it means an additional income.
The bike makes it easier for our grandson Andrew to sell his fish at market and get to school.
And for Nawalat, it means the future she's always dreamed of.
I use my bike to get to school so I can be a nurse one day.
Change begins with a bike. Begin this journey as a regular giver. See the cycle of poverty broken for £6 a month.
So, yeah, please do get on your bike over to allwecan.org/bike. Tim has also dropped, the seasoned professional that he is, has dropped the link down below. And it was really good to see. I'm really glad that, people, are back in school rather than, having to make bricks all day. As I mentioned in, I think, my morning service a couple of weeks ago, I do love my brick. Yes. Yes, quite. Yeah. So, Tim, are there other things you want to kind of share with us, or?
I think it's just kind of that encouragement that whatever we have got, it's worth giving. It's worth kind of handing over in whatever meaningful way we can. And I think if we all sort of held our gifts a little more lightly, we might find outstanding ways to use them. And that might be our financial resources. I as you said right at the beginning, James, this is a really tough time, and lots of us have had to rethink our family finances or our household budgets, as we're not quite sure about the future. So totally get that. But I think I'm always reminded that certainly in my life, that kind of £6 a month, I definitely waste £6 probably a week, never mind a month, on things I really don't need, and in fact are only adding to my lockdown weight. So I'm cutting out one or two of those.
Amen, brother.
And cutting out one or two of those and thinking about a decent charity or organisation I could support with them. All we can's available, but there are others. That it is kind of one of the ways I think we can think seriously about our gifts, which is just to, the taking for granted isn't just about the skills I've got that I take for granted. It's also, that tenner that I've got that I'll take for granted because I'll spend it on mini eggs like that. Let's think about how that could genuinely change somebody's life. And that's been sort of the journey of my life at All We Can, has been realizing that those tiny little things that we often overlook do make a huge difference. A few quid goes a very long way in a place like Uganda. I'll try and tell this story very quickly because I know I've talked a lot, but
No.
3 years ago when I was in Zimbabwe, I met a family who kind of their main challenge was the fact that they'd got into sort of school fee debt. The children pay a small school fee every term to attend school, and they'd run so far behind on the debt. The lady said to me, "I can never imagine being able to pay this debt off." And I said, just kind of out of interest, using translator, of course, kind of how much is the debt? And it's basically the equivalent of 15 quid. But she could never imagine having a world in which that 15 quid could ever be paid off. And that kind of really sobered me in terms of, the things I've spent 15 quid on that I really didn't need. So yeah, those little gifts that we've got, let's not take them for granted, and let's use them to do good, whether that's in Uganda or in Sheffield.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was just thinking, I know I've been really inspired, well, throughout various things, you know, whether it's in response to the emergency coronavirus appeal or some of the harvest stuff and the idea of the bike thing, and people like Patrick who, you know, are forever using their gifts of being a lot fitter than I am, and being a lot more committed to being fit than I am. And, you know, even if you feel you haven't got, you know, finances is not a gift that you feel you can share at the minute, you know, actually are there ways in which you can encourage others to share by doing something daft or incredibly healthy, you know, and supporting all we can in that way.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Thanks,
so thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for your time. And can we pray for you in all we can? Is that?
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Cool. No, that's all right. So God, I thank you again, as always, for Tim and for his family, both the members in that house and those further afield, for each and every one of them, giving thanks for all that they are, as well as all that they do in sharing light and hope and love. And so we pray for the work of All We Can and for all associated with it in kind of, you know, head office as well as the partner organisations throughout the world, and just the way in which all of those people are using their gifts and skills to help us join in with your work, Lord, and helping us be connected, whether it's, you know, in this country but across the world, and just that sense of, you know, if we have learnt one thing from this experience, that we are all connected. And so I just pray your continued blessing upon all who work with and for All We Can, as they lead us in that, as I say every night, in that realization of God's mission, of God's kingdom, of justice and peace that is on earth and will be fully on earth as it is in heaven. So yeah, we just ask again your blessing, and especially upon Tim. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, James.
No worries. So if feel free, if you need to go, that's fine. If you want to stick around to the bitter end,
I'll stay and sway.
Depends how much of a sadist you are. But yeah. Well, I was trying to twirl, but I've realised there's too many cables, and I'm going to unplug myself, which wouldn't be a bad thing halfway around, or sort of garrot myself. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, hello Matt, hello Amy. So I shall go back to. Oh no, we could just pray. Yes, then I'll do sharing stuff. I know Sally's asked us to pray for her in a sort of a leadership team of a church that she's with this evening. So we remember her. Pray again for All We Can, and particularly the people that we heard about in that film, and the project we know with bikes and the transformation that is bringing. For Matt, who's also gone to a church meeting, and for Nigel and the church youth group that he leads, and anything else that people want to type in.
So I'd add my prayers for those in refugee camps. We mentioned them earlier on, and there's still a lot of fear, I think, in those places. So yeah.
I think, as a community here, we continue to pray for Neil, especially after Amy's funeral this afternoon. For Edna, And for Theo. And so using these words or whatever approximation of anything like the Lord's Prayer you choose, in whatever language you choose, we offer our prayers spoken, unspoken, typed, shouted, railed and wailed and cried. We offer them to a God who hears us even before we share our needs, and who is merciful and hears our prayer. So we can say together, to the one in whom all people and all creation have their being, may your kingdom come, your will be done, as above, so below. Sustain us for this day. Show us grace, as we seek to show grace to those we feel have wronged us. Save us from the worst that is within us and within this world. Because the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Hello, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Hannah upstairs.
Yes. Hello, Martha, unless you're in the land of Nod.
I hope so by now.
Well, yes, yeah. Because I know the other week you were reading, off to read the Gruffalo, and I had a word with Katie, thinking, I said, you remember Martha? Yeah. Well, she still likes the Gruffalo. So, tomorrow when I pick you from school, instead of coming out and saying very loudly that Daddy has a badger's bottom under his COVID mask, could you say, oh, my daddy looks like the Gruffalo instead? But no, nothing. No,
still the badger's bottom. Unlucky.
Yeah. At least you said bottom.
Got all that to come.
Oh, yes. Deep joy. Oh, thanks for the update, Patrick. So it all went smoothly at lunchtime. You're in direct contact with Neil last night as he prepared to say his tribute. Wow. Gosh. Oh, I wanted to use something you'd written. Right. Oh, thank you for your prayers for you as well in that, Patrick, and your love and care and ministry. Prayers again for Neil and for you and all those. Yes, Catherine's just admitted that the badger's bottom stemmed from her. So yes, thanks for owning that, Catherine. You're still blaming Harry for the poo emojis, aren't you, though? Yes. So, Tim, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And just wish you all the blessing and to the rest of the family and to its extended sense, as well as all we can family.
Thanks, James.
And keep the plug going.
Well, absolutely, and you keep the Compline going. It's a blessing to lots of us. So
I will. Thank you. So we'll send each other with these words. May the peace of the All-Parent be ours this night, and with all people and all creation, as through things like the work of all we can, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, so that in the time that is to come, there will be peace and justice for all people and all creation, which is awesome. Yeah, and a reason to keep going day by day, doing what we do. So, I keep forgetting that was straight away. I do want to take people by surprise because I just wanted to say after last night, thanks to Tim's suggestion, he pointed out that I was saying I might have to reconfigure this we talked about David dancing before the Lord, and the translation is sort of whirling, and I thought about whirling dervishes, and I confused twirling and whirling, which are probably the same thing. I'm not sure, but I feel now swaying is perhaps not the most biblical response of a way of ending comments. So I do want to invite you, if you feel able to whirl or twirl, then let's give that a go tonight for the Lord. As Tim pointed out, swaying on a swivel chair, whirling on a swivel chair is exactly the same as swaying, but you just go a different way on a swivel chair. Is that the essence of what I need to do?
I think so. I think it might be unplug yourself. And then
okay. Yeah. No, I think you're not the only one who said that, to be fair. I do hope that Connection offer a training course on this soon. I shall be the first in there. Yeah, whirling with Trey. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, let's go. Let us sway, twirl, whirl, facing away from each other, wearing face masks. Let's go. Okay, what have you got? I have no idea if you're still there, Tim. Have I broken it? Have I broken the internet?
I think I'm still here.
There we are.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
That was. Whew, well, that's. Yeah, I feel thinner already. That's
We
great.
swayed our way to Jesus, I think.
Anyway, right. I shall say good night. Thank you.
Bless you and good
Cheers
night.
for that. Take care, everybody. Yet again, can't find. Oh, there's the end button. Good. Yeah. Go well, people. You are awesome.